Nobody really knows what it's like. You get set up for years and years and years. And they feed off your demonic, I haven't spelled this right, the trauma-based mind control cell for years and years and years. So I'm going to do a search on this guy. He's now dead, but they set me up with this man. So he would go and attack me. It was well known in those days, a serial killer. And had I known what I know now, things would be different. And it was all over the news, really, in 2003, UK. And everybody's made documentaries and things, but nobody knows what the truth, how it affects people. You see, this is what gets me. This is a serial killer that attacked me, right? Show his mug. He's not dead. 2002. Nobody bothered to tell me. I had to find out. So nobody knows how this affects me. Well, this twist face, right? Right. If I put my name out there, my details out there, right? Every single effing day, I live with this, right? It wasn't just 3 individuals, you know, there was a whole lot of other people out there that the Metropolitan Police, which is a limited company in London, and the murder squad, and the key evidence I've got, because I kept a journal as well, I didn't do anything much about the internet those days. So what he did to me at the end of the 2002, right? All you heard about what the narrative they wanted to get out at the time. And why do I raise this now? 22 years on, well, more than that, isn't it? 2022 now. It's because they're setting me up with the ultimate card, you know. So it's if I knew what I knew years ago in hindsight, I wouldn't have I would have gone and known that this guy was going to be a serial killer, right?
When a murder is
This documentary, this guy, I faced him in a press conference. It was all premeditated. When you know about the brain interface technology, mind control, he was satanic. Everything they found in his flat was linked into the dark occult and occultism, which I now know a bit about. So Anthony Hardy was my first client, right? That's why I didn't take up my natural health business, because I thought logically my ex-fiance and my ex-business partner was going to help me set up a business in natural remedies I trained up for, but the building hadn't been finished in time. So I was renting out my old room at my old house. I thank goodness in a way it got broken into because I moved, but then I've been targeted here all these 12 years. So it's been repetitive trauma. And these people you think you can trust. And it's not till a light bulb goes off and you learn law in many areas and subjects and you realise, oh my God. And it goes deeper the rabbit hole than just this situation.
Dismembered body.
And where they use a mind, I mean, what kind of mindset creates individual to this is disclaimer for over 18s to dismantle body parts. I met one of the family, the mother, and I was fortunately misinformed about, I don't know what year now, I've got the documents and paperwork still, but it relates to, oh, let's sue in these documentaries, in the title, we tried to sue the CEOs of the public funded companies. We tried to go private prosecution when I did as well. I was a journalist at the time, trainee researcher, NUJ card, two press cards still from 1998 and the year 2003. Still had them. So the old lawyers connected to that union at the time were trying to get a private prosecution against the Metropolitan Police and the handling of my case, and also the Crown prosecution, the Attorney General, you name it, we tried it, and we didn't get nowhere. But when it come to the Old Bailey murder case, the hearing, I was lied for so many months. I was a key witness in the murder case. They weren't going to charge him what he did to me, the attempted murder and the physical assault, but yet there's evidence for that because they wanted to get him on the three murders, the ultimate, right? And I was fuming. You can imagine. So we live every fucking time. My life wasn't perfect years ago, but I was coping. I have this sickening image about demons and what it wore symbolically was all over media, all over the mainstream press. And that's just one. Okay. What it did to me, I should have had my day in court. Right? This fucking bastard. And, we tried to sue St. Luke's Hospital, right? And another, it's not the hospital per se. He had the same jury, same description, everything like this before it got into the press. I had the 3 lots, 3 times, 3 visits by the murder squad up to my own. And the interviews I did on camera was horrendous. This is the long coat we had, the same bag, the serial killer. You people doing your fucking videos and your stories, you don't know the survivors that live, and the families, but they might have overcome it. But when you're a survivor and of that horrendous match, these documentaries, look, someone making all these views for just copying the narrative of the mainstream TV, all the news outlets, and there was a company that was doing a documentary and didn't portray it correctly from my situation. And I've never spoken out. And all this take, the man who literally got away with murder, really? You have no idea, the Camden Ripper. Come on, you stupid bitches out there. You're talking about people. Look, this is a fucking gets my goat. Nobody knows the truth.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another true crime video. Today we're going to be covering the case of Anne.
You don't know. You're just making.
Good job. It was very
make up and talking about something like that, like it's nothing.
Come back to the UK to find them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And when Anthony arrived in
She's just going up on the mainstream media. I hate people when they do
which I get
this.
it, I know, leak, very, very annoying. It sometimes happens, people can't help it, okay? But Anthony, being Anthony, got very angry, he's very volatile, and he wanted revenge. So he decided.
These people do not know nothing. I'm sorry, these people don't know what you go through. And then you've got somebody else, right, that made huge profit out of all this. You see? And who says 2 years ago solved? You have no idea. If I went on made up a channel, Candy Ripper, I told my story of the facts all these years. Look at that. Jumping on the bandwagon.
Because like I said from the beginning, the chief of police.
The unheard of London case of the Candy Ripper. They have no idea.
I thought from the beginning, I told this guy in the video, I don't know if you heard me tell him. I warned him. My first interaction was we were having Roberts. I gave him a challenge point. And I warned him. I said, "You're back. I know they're going to use this to see I hate being right sometimes. Always happens. Things like it's happening. I end up being right. Yeah, I know. And you know, I don't understand why, because I didn't do anything to them. I mean, the truth is the truth.
This is what it is about, you see. The Hunt for the Candy Ripper, the full movie.
You caught my brother and I said, all I do is break the law and I'm on drugs, right?
No, it wasn't true. None of this is all that.
Every day, all day, he drinks all day. It doesn't work. And he just pity me. The world's out to get me. I'm not the reason for all my problems.
Over 1 million views, right? They retrashed the same lies. Okay?
What he can make people look a certain way on social media and fuel his own narrative. That's what he did. Try to do what he had. He just said before he leaves, he has to just get a plate because I was driving the vehicle. And I asked him, I said, you don't need the registration or insurance or anything. He said, no, I just got to get the plate. So, yeah, Rwanda turned it up because I have my volume all the way up. It's streaming from my phone. That's the problem. See, I'm streaming from my phone. I have the microphone. You know what I'll do? I'm going to turn the microphone off. I'll relax. And I'll play again. Okay. The first body.
This is all untrue.
In the corner with a.
This was the same narrative, same documentary. He just re-uploaded.
The university.
This is all the press cuttings from 2003 and what the information I gave to the police.
Come for Christmas, she would still have been alive.
I met the mother, right, of her, and we're part of the class action, myself and that family. Yeah, but did they bother to properly do the evidence what I went through too? No. She was already wealthy.
Signed at the bottom.
Can you see how the key people they only interviewed, right?
To investigate unexplained deaths.
The CID, the murder squad, the individuals involved, they got promotion after all this.
He traveled.
Right? He travelled on a train to me. I won't go into how. You've got a little bit of what I said, and the company involved. My ex-partner, he set up a website and everything for me to start my business off, but didn't take off. Hunt for the Camden Ripper. Yeah. And did a press conference. Eventually, yeah, wasn't pleasant when there was a public inquiry, which I know now is a shambles. So yeah, and they're trying to stitch me up ever since. Me, survivor, ever since. I know now how the trauma-based mind control works. Well, not everything, but just the majority of it all. And this is what they do. So there's a lot of people worldwide since the 1970s, well, further back than that.
It's a microphone also you could hear, but you couldn't hear the audio at all. That's weird.
But at that point, ejaculation is.
So the audio is going to come out on speaker. I don't know if that'll help or not.
I don't know whereabouts I was, if I was in a hotel at the time.
Hi, Tanya. That's why I didn't say hi, because I didn't have my phone on. I'm on my phone, so I can't use the chat with the streaming thing.
Right. They kept saying this is where they used me and why they used me. This bloke was the worst. Right, he kept saying no comment at them, and this is why they want to hang me on, to be a key witness in the Old Bailey, the only witness, the living witness, right? Because the way he tried to strangle me and kill me is how they killed the victims, and then he chopped the body parts, and there's something not being found. So you live without every bloody day. So, you know, and you just do the best you can. It's like anyone surviving trauma. And then you've got so many people now go through the gaslighting program, target program for so long. And then your family members are involved. You can imagine what my religious family members were trying to, especially my older brother, half brother, was trying to lie and cheat and all sorts of things he was doing behind the scenes. Yeah? So why do you think I studied law? I studied law for a bloody reason. 2002 that was. You know, it's violence. It's horrendous beyond joke. It's just horrendous. It's beyond joke. So
At people, and they make no comment. They're also giving up the opportunity to explain it away.
yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. Blue wall and the bed in the background. That, Mr. Hardy, is.
Sadly, this man was into SM, sadism in a big way. And he's got a whole history of that, I found out. Sadly, I didn't even know. I was streetwise, but I didn't know half of it. So, not pleasant. That's a mainstream. Oh, it's just a whole experience. I didn't know the lawyers at the time, the company involved at the time. I had no clue what I was being offered all those years ago because I didn't know about law, studying all that stuff. Any of what I do since, of course. But so what makes a serial killer? Makes you wonder, doesn't it, when you go into the chilling Yorkshire Ripper and all that stuff. Anyway, we tried to sue the mistakes of this guy in London. Again, you've got all this a month ago, real crime a month ago. They're just retrashing the same information.
Hello and welcome. Hardworking and extremely driven.
They're just getting clips of mainstream news items already out there in the public domain and making it up, right? Making it up, right?
In his studies to bottle before a turn to England, his life continued.
This is all of mainstream news.
The rooms bring her face. Oh God. His consultant believed that he remained.
See what I mean? It's all taken off news cuttings and TV news items, and they're just rehashing it. And this what really gets on my goat, right? So, but I'm going to add a comment. Gaslighters, piss off. Demons. Drunken idiots. Let's have a look at the beach. 8:30 UK time. Yeah, so being harassed by public servants in the UK for something you haven't bloody done is just demonic. And they're just, when I've learned law, I mean, there's so much information out there now, you can educate yourself. I mean, why can't they leave this alone? You know? It's now 2022, that happened in 2013 of December 13th December 2002, and they label you with a label you don't have. It's trauma based, okay? So I'm the survivor, and yet I'm treated like below, you know, like very demonically for all these years to date. And they libeled me, they slandered me, they ruined my family life, every damn thing you can think of ever since. Ever since. So yeah. And yet they don't get the truth out. And I think I'm a survivor for that horrific incident. And the way he killed those women is the strangulation, right? So I had that interaction with that demon. His eyes turned green at that point of trying to kill me. And I swear to goodness, there's a guardian angel watching over me that day, and ever since. And ever since my late mum taught me all these years, right, in the religion that I was raised in, organised religion, I should say, and it's like, wow, it wasn't my time to go. So my journalism skills, my campaign skills kicked in, and I, all those years ago, didn't know how to handle the press, did I? So they trashed me, and they spoilt my relationship with my daughter, they spoilt my relationship with my son. I just tried to carry on. So what can you do after that? So yeah, so found very much for my elder brother not very helpful at all, half brother. So he manipulated everything with my whole mum family. So whatever's in the press, and the only one that really was there for me was my adult son at the time, at his age. And had I known about this NKO trauma-based mind control program, how it really works all these years ago, well, you know, all the kind of lifestyle I had at the time, the people I met, the Freemasons, and all the well-connected people I knew. Well, when all this happened, it stopped. Everything stopped. I could not, because it was so traumatizing, I could not carry on to open my business. I wanted to do. I was always well trained in accountancy, business, everything like that from my ex-fiance. Well taught. He was a 33-degree Mason. He introduced me to top people, and it would have took off well. I always got trained in London in Reiki, and it's always professional. And yet, when I uncovered a very dark side of life that people don't really know about, perhaps, in 1998, was it they thought I was going to spill the beans on certain political people in my area, UK, of what they were doing to kids, and how I found out. And when I found out, I tried to get help by somebody, a young lad, and things like that. And it's just like, no, I wouldn't, because I knew full well, streetwise, you just don't, because you don't know who people are connected to. So, was I set up? Who knows? But for him to come all the way on a bloody train from London to see me, and it's all legit, all kosher, my safety, I couldn't handle myself very well. at the time, and I was into fitness, gym, swimming, you name it. I was doing all that kind of stuff, and then it just stopped, completely stopped. So yeah, you just okay, you can't do much, just more. So why do you think they got me went over 2009? Why do you think they wanted me making me physically disabled and have 3 strokes ever since? You know, and being my situation I'm in for years now. I mean, think about it. Because what happened in 2002 didn't work, did it? I'm still here. And thank goodness. Because if I'm living, I'm a survivor, all that. And I went, oh my goodness me, I did stupid things I know at the time. TV, radio, you name it, I did it. Political stuff, you know, beforehand. So 2001, I got into politics. Right before that, 1990s, and then I really do believe I got under the skin of UK, Tony Blair and people like that. When I was campaigning for education rights for kids. So when I help families, I just happen to know how to cut the red tape and help other families. And that's all I did. And it got under the nose of politicians, perhaps, Freemasons, who knows. And they didn't like the fact that I was on national telly at the time with one of the families and me, and sharing the medical route, how they can get support for their kids, and go the right way of getting support if anything happens to them at school and their rights, blah blah blah. So that led me to campaigns, and that got interest in me getting on radio. Then there was interest in me going on telly, and then documentaries, and then other type of entertainment shows. So yeah, I had a profile out there, public profile. So when I met Lauren Kelly, and what she did to me, I couldn't. I tried to report it. I didn't know how much this stuff would get covered up. I didn't know how deep the rabbit hole goes until years on, and I thank goodness for really good people that taught me a lot about tort law, common law, contract law, statute law, etc., and knowing who we really are is a bigger picture. So perhaps what happened to me, I'm a survivor for a reason to be here now in the times we're living in, and it does really does. Every bloody time they know exactly when they do a letter or do lies and manipulations and use of contacts. They know full well I was manipulated and lied to in 2015 off a contract, CICA Limited. And then it was the assumptions. Everything I done throughout my reduction, my physical health, 2000 and what was it, up until 2015, I responded to people to say that I'm now physically disabled, I'm now reduction my health, and I can't do blah blah blah. So a lot of things affect you in your daily activities, and my gosh, wasn't it a shock? It wasn't for my late mum adjusting to able-bodied and being non-able-bodied. But then they tarnish that the labels is what these corporations need. They've got to make money. It's like I've got a whole list. It's endless. The deception is so big, and they have to traumatize you. It's repetitive traumatization where the brain interface comes into it. I mean, I didn't know none of this years ago. What the hell is all of this? So when I found out they'd been messing about with human brains since 1800s, and then that famous 70s mind control program, and then it's been much deeper than that, and then much more advanced than that. It's like, oh my gosh. So when they took a couple of channels down of mine, it was like, what? I stumbled across some facts, did I? So I am heavily rerouted. They're just jamming my signals, the Wi-Fi, really hacking it. And I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded by bloody minders, demonic entities and human individuals. I have no clue what I'm about. Since I moved in, Stuart, of Flat 2, began it all. Libel and slander. He used it towards my, at the time, it was carers. I've got diaries and dates and who did what, etc. And I reported everything that was going on. Nobody got held accountable. My word against two females, that's all it's the same. Anyway, long story short, 2008 2011 had a report upheld against the public servants and their failures. They didn't like that, did they? Wasn't much compensation. And then again, it all happened again, didn't it? So 2019 upheld report of maladministration, public servants, a lot of them in my area, and they've just had a bee in their bonnet after me ever since. So it's in conjunction with housing corporation, its agents, especially locally, so blocking repairs to my flat. And I didn't know what's home invasions. Yeah. So 10th of July 2017 that happened. They put slit on the floor, my flooring in my bathroom, because the reports they deliberately knew they were going to block. My flat wasn't the way it is back in 2010, 11. So that report, 2011 and 12, they blocked. And minor kit plates in the door, wood door frames here. And it was all about moving me out in the first place. They didn't want me moving here. So when I was displaced from my older house where it happened, the incident happened, it was a certain neighbour at the end that set me up with the three blokes that smashed through my 5-lever door. And my life was threatened there. She hated the fact I was still living there. Thank gosh my son had moved away by then, much older, when I was on my own with my cats. So, of course, the new policies coming in England for council tax and all that stuff, and I would have to move anyway, but they forced me out when I lost my secure tenure 25 years. If I'd had got the correct amount, should have been, and told about how if you take compensation of 18,000, whatever a total amount, it does affect the repayment policies if you get anything public funded. So of course at that date of that incident, I wasn't able to work. I wasn't able to earn anything. So to receive the offer benefits, the housing and disability benefits, etc., would be expected to pay back. So you can imagine from the date of that incident and like all these years to date would be more than 18 grand. Yeah. And then of course more than 16 grand or 14 grand, whatever it is. So I've been trying to pay me 14 grand 900. So logically I thought, well, great, yeah, I love it. But I was shocked to find out all these things myself. I had to dig and find out. And nobody told me this. So I went back to the sources that I thought could help, and all these charities in London that were only so happy when it's in the press to help me. Those years ago, when I turned back to them in 2019 to assist, oh, we can't help you, just take the money. Well, yeah, thanks. So I did write to these agents, Public Servants UK, let them know. But they twisted it all around, said I wasn't working with them, I wasn't engaging. You know these key words I use. You're not engaging, you're not working with them, you're not blah, 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 whatever. It's not fact, it's not true. And the fact is that, as I said, the reports, I've got a couple of reports actually, one key one in May 2019. So, well, the trusts are broke completely by then, and my private life friends have been taken over my personal care 2014. The abuses I was getting in my home, physical abuse as well. Everything got reported, nothing got done. I had to protect my safety and my life as well again. So I did what I can, best I can. So you see, it's not just one thing. And when you find out, my daughter stopped talking to me end of 2014. My son got married in 2015, didn't want me at the wedding. That should have been a red herring, to like tell me that, oh, I didn't know, of course, then. I thought it's because my daughter didn't want me to see me. So I was saving up for a accessible vehicle with a wheelchair access to go to my son's wedding in London. And it was really hard. Didn't want me there. My own bloody son. I was at my daughter's wedding, but my son didn't want me there. I thought, whatever. So ever since I found out that the Freemasons have been behind manipulating and lying about me and my son too. So by 2016, 16, they scared him out of town. So he just had no choice but stay with my daughter, get on her, and it's not their fault. I don't blame them at all. It's none of their fault. It's a system that's it. Now I know what I know about certain things. It's been like that all so many years, and I'm just one of many. And I'm sure there's a lot more people out there like me. And I'm just more knowledgeable. So when the images came out about Hardy's flat and stuff, and all these years later, when I'm being pushed into psychological tactics, what they do to re-traumatize me and trigger me, and which it is like a trigger, the disassociation of the brain, how they do it, the trauma-based mind control. You're so traumatized, you have to break off the memories of what happened to cope everyday things. And when they send any assumptions, anything related to that, that situation or that time ago, it's like you relive it. You're instantly back in that moment and you're really living it, so you can function, until the mind, it's like you have strategies and coping strategies to remember that it's not happening now. It's years ago. It's just their bloody narcissist way to trick you. And they know full well. I've got stacks of paperwork. Clearly, the research I've done and the talks they've caused me since on top, the heart, severely common law offences to me. These agents working for public servants, so much I can't even put into words. And the last lot this summer just gone, and they're just waiting for their system, the setups, the ultimate. I know what it is, because the lies and manipulations are covered up so well, and they know full well that my image was all over the public domain. The only survivor. There are other survivors, and sadly, those girls who did survive, the police don't want to know. They were addicted to drink and drugs, and they really were in a bad way. And I've never touched that. I don't ever need that. It's just my upbringing. I've never done that. And for those that do, it's sad, because they're covering pain and suffering. And when you go, if you have trauma as a kid and it follows you through young adult life, and then your whole life, and then it can be hereditary, which I've since researched and found out. But yeah, what did I prompt me to make the video on this subject is because I was going through some old notes. I was going to have my hair washed, but I can't be bothered now. just going to watch a comedy or something and just relax. But I try to. But when you realise that brain frequencies and how the advancement in technology now, here we are in the now and future, is really all about brain. The biological, the advancement technology is really so advanced. So of course, who the hell to put me in the program? Was I put in it since I was a young adult, or was I put in it as a kid? From my memories, which I always been kept a journal since I was 14, it's really since my elder brother, neolithic programmer, yeah. 1981, 82, I've got diary specific names and addresses who was involved. It was enormous where I used to live. And there was, and I've got a list of key names. So I don't know what the time is to sue for psychological damage on that. But you see, I'm not here to dig up past. You know, they're going to have to answer to their maker. And I know now it's satanic. It is not a religion. It is run by the big corporation, extremely now sided with the dark occultism. Freemasonry, Illuminati is very much involvement in that. My late mum didn't know. But you see, all my family members, I'm sure, a lot of them know, but they're too scared to leave. So I'm the only one luckily left a long time ago, because I had that instinct when I was a young adult, young woman, that this wasn't going to be for me. And so I did leave. And so I suppose all that period there, and then moving up to the town, this is where it began. All the trauma, all the other history leading up to 2002 build up. So if you're really a true brother and sister, your DNA family members, you don't turn your back on somebody when they need support. Whatever kind of emotional, practical. My elder brother started it. You made your bed, you lay in it. And I was only bloody 18 and had my first child. You can imagine that. And then my snobby sister sided with him. So you can imagine, you try to keep a relationship with your own DNA family members, despite what they've done to you. But no, you just go and make life for yourself. And that's what I did. But because I wasn't a part of the Mormons, I was outcast by them all. But my late mum, she tried to keep, was always like that. So when she passed away, it was about forgiveness, you know. And if you have all this baggage on you, it's just going to drive you down all the time. And now I just use my knowledge and share what I know carefully. And just get on with it. And well, the shite's going to hit the fan anytime soon anyway, with other subjects going on in the world. And it's not up to me. It's very is demonic, and a lot of really spiritual awakening is going on, which is really good to know. And what goes around comes around. So that guy's passed, and yeah, I would have liked to have the decency to be informed properly. But no. But yet they keep chasing me. Oh, you're not taking 14 grand. I mean, goodness me. You know, when I approach certain family members to help me set up a trust bond, you know, trust account, and I know about trust law, I know about trust and how they're set up. So I did an investigation myself. If I was incompetent not to be handling my affairs, etc., etc., make a specific, all these things I won't go into them, just forging making it up. I wouldn't be able to research this information, have the documents ready, and to ask my adult son at the time and his late wife, probably his wife still about, but they're not together anymore, I assume. And yeah, so they didn't want to help. So I did notify the relevant parties, agents, and that was all that 2019. So why do we keep pursuing this since 2020? And it's 2022 now. So how many years is that? So in statute law, a civil matter in England, in their system, the statute barred after 6 years. You don't pursue it for 22 years. That's how far-fetched it. And when you know it is harassment, and when they're harassing a survivor of Canny Ripper, Anthony Hardy, and you're a survivor of that horrific crime, you're not in their system a criminal. You know, and it's like, what? So it's brain interface technology, and they have to label you. And if you come across somebody and they think you, oh, she or he's done something to us, let's put her on a watch list. Let's lie about her to be whatever, you know. And that's slander. It's libelous. There's nothing I've gone through. It's nothing really, because I've gone through worse. But the thing is, they made it such an extreme extent to every document, every bit of data, to lie about me in every regard. And I'll get to deny services, lawful services, lawful goods and services. And this is beyond a joke now. But I'm not the only one. This is a worldwide program that goes on, and the subject of targeted individuals. Do you think, where that term come from? So it's nothing new. Anyway. Nothing new. There is nothing new. You can't believe psychological tactics. This is unbelievable. Anyway, it's fine tonight. Time. Awaken, his eyes don't look right. Yeah, I know, Tanya. Hiya, they're just blocking me, seeing any pop-ups. Tell me about it. So, go back to the eyes. The eyes were green. I'll never forget it all these years on. This one. Let's see if I can do pictures of Candy Ripper, and I'll tell you. Interesting, isn't it?
Awaken his eyes don't look bright. Yeah, I know, Tanya. They just broke me seeing the pop-ups. Tell me about it.
This was what he wore.
The eyes were green. I never forget it all these years on. This one. Let's see if I can do pictures of Candy Red Cup. And I'll tell you.
Christmas, look, discovery human parts at a pub at Camden in 2002, triggered after Metropolis' large manhunt shocked the nation. He is possessed. Yeah, Sylvia Jones, that's her name. She misinformed me about this, taking part in this documentary. Sylvia Jones, producer. Just TV production company for Channel 4. So we had this coat on. Let me go back. You had all the mainstream media. Take it all out of context.
Interesting.
Isn't it weirdo that all these years on, he wore the same leather coat? The descriptions I gave was before the press. All this got out in the press.
This was what he wore.
The leather coat, the t-shirt, the bracelet, the beard, the glasses, everything. And I still got the police statement. It's not pleasant reading. It really isn't pleasant reading. So,
Christmas, discovery human parts at a pub at Camden, 2002, triggered off the Metropolis' large manhunt shocked the nation.
look how people make income out of it. Look, they have no clue what it's like.
He's possessed.
Rapes and assault, police. Let's have a look.
Yeah, Sylvia Jones, that's her name. She misinformed me about this, taking part in this documentary. Sylvia Jones, producer. Just TV production company for Channel 4.
He was investigated. Look how they put. Do you want to know the truth? Look how they lie about it. Was investigated for a series of rapes and indecent assault. It has emerged. Scott Yard. Look, November the 26th, 2003. Right?
Take it all out of context.
You can't read the rest of the article. Yep, this is what I got them, right? For the lies I was told about my situation. Do you think I'm going to do a bloody police statement?
He wore the leather coat. The descriptions I gave was before the press, before this put out the press. The leather coat, the t-shirt, the bracelet,
Anyway,
beard, glasses,
guys,
everything. I still got the police statement. It's not just me.
I've got a Wikipedia page. After all these years, he passed away. Ah, this isn't old. Perhaps he had reliving. There's something.
People make things from that book. I have no clue what it's like.
Look at the history, repeats itself.
Raped and assault, police. Yeah, Sylvia Jones.
1908. Was he mind controlled to replay out the 1908 incident in the same area? I do wonder. Look, Royal College Street. That was the same location. Hold on, let's mute this.
Do you want to know the truth? Look how they lie about it. Was investigated for a serial.
Wow. It's interesting, this. Where was I? Apparently, the Camden Town murder, a little group painting in 1908. Paintings showed the title of the group refers to Camden Town murder case of 1907. Part-time sex worker cheating on a partner was murdered in her home. And Camden. It goes to Royal College Street. That's where the Camden Ripper was. That happened. After intimacy, the man had still slit her throat open while she was asleep and then left in the morning. It's about painting. Interesting. Wow, wow, wow. All these years on in 2022, 2003, 2003, it happened again, but a different manner. I just come across that by chance. It's interesting. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on this. Yeah. Let's see what Sky's doing. Change the subject now. It's already dark out there. Saturday night. Just going to refresh out and watch a movie, I think. It's a full moon. And my day's gone. Because I've got all these documents, I thought, oh my goodness me. It's all the setup is. Biggest setup again. All this time. What goes around comes around, doesn't it? When you're targeted, you don't get a bloody holiday. You just get more demonic setups. But when you know that these are all corporations, you know now, it's just, you think, oh, finally you find out some truths should be released. Oh look, we got stalkers online. Don't know if she's still alive. Tamia's. No, it's God no. She's been gaslighting somebody in America. Monica, it. Right, so now coming off there onto my channel. Now they're still making sure nobody comes in. It's amazing what you find out about things all these years later. But these public servants all these years on should know better. I'm going to close that down to open that. Get up my case. No, it's only. Pull that down. Right, I'm just going to close this down now and just say, well, we've got to keep going. Signing out. Trying to survive. They're just hacking me, so I'm just going to close this down for now.